So now I request the chairperson for the next session, Dr. Anil Kumar Gopinathan sir, to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jabez. So shall we start now?
Yes, sir. You can
Straight
please.
away. Straight away.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So good morning to everybody. We are starting the first session with the talk from Dr. K. Suresh Babu, the principal scientist. Yes, I would like to introduce the speaker to this August audience. Dr. K. Suresh Babu is a senior scientist in the Division of Natural Products, CSAR, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology Laboratory, Hyderabad. He has completed his doctorate in natural product chemistry in 2005 from Kakatiya University, Warangal. And he did his postdoctoral work at the National Center for Natural Product Research, University of Mississippi, United States of America. Dr. Suresh Babu's research group has successfully carried out extensive basic and applied research in the chemistry of natural products of biological relevance and successfully isolated several new bioactive molecules from natural resources. He has published more than 160 papers in SCI journals and filed 10 patents of India. He is also leading several projects of national importance in new drug discovery, standardization of herbal drugs of commercial importance, botanical pesticides, chemical modification of lead compounds, and SARS studies. He has guided 17 doctoral students successfully, leading to PhD, and 9 scholars are currently pursuing research under his able guidance. With this brief introduction, I would like to request Dr. Suresh Babu for his presentation for his lecture. Thank you very much.
Yeah, once again, good morning to all, and thank you, Dr. Karthik, for your kind invitation, and Dr. Anil Kumar for your kind introduction. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yes. Today, just I would like to lightening the about the natural products and how they have contributed the human health since the ages, and the opportunities and challenges, particularly in this pandemic situation and global healthcare. And I would like to also share some of my research work recently. I think from the last 10 years we are working, and I would like to share some glimpses of our research where we got some of the drug leads for different targets by using the different approaches. So when we speak about the in the ancient times, the people in that times, they have identified their surrounding plants as a medicinal plants, and then poisonous plants based on their knowledge at that time. So that knowledge has been rooted through generations to generations, became a like a traditional medicine. So that is nothing but our Indian systems of medicine, Egyptian systems of medicine, or Chinese systems of medicine, whatever you call. So this basically this traditional medicine refers to a medicinal knowledge, innovations, practices of indigenous or local communities around the world, and it has been developed from experiences gained over to the centuries. And this has been transmitted orally from generations to generations. Even till today, we can come across the many traditional healers. Those people are called traditional healers, particularly in the rural areas. Still, they are serving the rural people for their health care by using the plant-based medicine surrounded by the from the forest. So even recently, Government of India conducted a survey regarding the existence of the traditional healers, because they do not have any MBBS degree, but any other degrees, medical degrees, but they are doing very well based on their knowledge gained from their forefathers or from the generations regarding the plant-based medicine practicing. So this traditional medicine in India can be classified into two categories. One is codified and another is non-codified. Codified comes under the Ayush Ministry, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy, where there are some books, Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia, Unani Pharmacopoeia. Based on that, these all medicine will be developed. And the non-codified system, folklore medicine system, which doesn't have any scientific validation, but still people are practicing, particularly in the tribal people. One of the best example, if you take the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the native tribals are called Andamanis and Nicobaris, and even they do not have they do not know about the modern world, but their entire life they spend on the plant. The entire life they are dependent upon the plant based medicine, but they are doing much better when compared to our modern society. Of course, these both systems contributing equally to the primary health care in India. When you speak about the our country, India has the largest population of the tribes when compared to the other countries in the world. Almost 85 million with more than 700 groups are there. In the large tribal population, India is not a homogeneous group, it's a heterogeneous group. That means in every area they have been called in different region. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, if you go to Nallamalla forest, those tribal people are called Chenchu tribes. Similarly, when you go to the Chhattisgarh and Telangana border, those tribes are called Gutti Koyas. So likewise, if you go to any interior area, their tribes are called, they are different areas, and that's why these tribes are heterogeneous groups. And our constitution recognizes 212 tribes found in different parts of the country: Himalayan region, Northeast region, South region, Western India, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So among these tribes, they are completely depend upon the plant-based medicine for their primary health care as well as their livelihood. When you speak about the northeast region, majority of the people are using plant-based medicine, and also that also became their livelihood for the plant medicinal plants. So this is a picture to realize about the traditional medicine we are practicing, existing from the last 4,000 years. But in this present scenario, present situation, and present revolutionary technology in biology and analytical technology, we can do much better by come acrossing the quality control aspect. That is the biggest aspect in the plant-based medicine. So even these traditional natural drugs, if you can find this type of people in the, particularly in our country. If you go to rural areas, these people are still practicing plant-based medicine and folklore medicine. These are called nothing but traditional healers. So even recently, this World Health Organization also endorsed about the utilization of the plant-based medicine for their health care. So as per the recent survey by WHO, more than 1 billion people rely on the herbal medicine to some extent, and 80% of the world population relies on plant-based traditional medicine for their primary health care. And further, listed around 21,000 medicinal plants that have been reported wide uses around the world. When coming to our country, India has 16 agroclimatic zones and 45,000 different plant species, and has a rich medicinal flora. And of 15,000 species of these, 2,000 to 3,000 species are fairly used in the Indian systems of medicine. And also some of the species also we are exporting to other countries. And these medicinal plants contribute 80% of the raw materials used in the preparation of Ayurvedic medicine. Currently, another 5,000 products are included in the pharmacy of Ayurvedic treatments. So these are the major natural sources: plant kingdom, microbial world, animal sources, marine world, venoms and toxins. So among these five sources, plant kingdom has contributed a lot in the form of Ayurveda and other systems of medicine. Of course, marine world and microbial world, if you see, many of the anti-cancer drugs and antibiotics are derived from or discovered from the marine world and microbial world. Even animal source and venoms and toxins also, some of the antifungal drugs and anti-hypertensive drugs are originated from these two sources. So why the natural products importance? Because utilization of the natural products has been listed way back in our Mesopotamian civilization way back to 2600 BC. Similarly, in Egyptian systems of medicine also around 1500 BC. In this, the therapeutic applications of more than 700 drugs were documented. Similarly, Chinese system, which is a very good system, almost equal to our Indian systems of medicine, Chinese Materia Medica. This is also dated around 1100 BC. So these are all traditionally established by Ayurveda. We know very well about the Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a long established systems of medicine practiced in India thousands of years, but how now it is getting worldwide attention as a alternative systems of medicine. And even though Ayurveda speaks about the crude extracts and crude fractions, but never speaks about the single compound based drugs or lead compounds. But however, these Ayurveda systems of medicine become a base for the discovery of many drug leads which are in the present market. So several promising molecules have been developed by taking advantage of Ayurvedic knowledge basis. Best examples I have quoted here: Raulpia alkaloids to reduce hypertension. Source is Raulpia serpentina. Similarly, soralins in vitiligo, Soralia corifolia. Similarly, Olariana alkaloids, Olariana antidysenterica, used in amoebiasis, L-Dopa from Mucuna pruriensis, Parkinson disease, piperidines, which are very well known as a bioavailability enhancer. These are nothing but piper species. And picrosides, very well known medicinal plant used in different formulations as a used as a hepatic production derived from Picrosia curora. Similarly, very well known Phyllanthus antivirals, very well known as a antivirals, Phyllanthus emerus, Phyllanthus, different Phyllanthus species are available to combat the antiviral diseases. Similarly, curcumin, very well known anti-inflammation and also a very well known kitchen item in every Indian family. Similarly, withanolides, very well known withanolides derived from Withania somnifera, and these are very well known as immunomodulators, and these are economically affordable, and even procurement is also very easy procurement, and compared to low toxic means these has to be taken in the prescribed quantity or prescribed dosage, then only these are low toxic and very effective in chronic diseases and safety and efficacy. Just I would like to just spend about 1 minute about the topic of low toxicity. Actually, I will like to quote one example. Actually, one of my friend working as a degree college lecturer, so he was suffering from diabetes from I think 5 or 6 years ago, since 5 years or 6 years. So he has been advised by one of his friend, why don't you take Naxwamika, because Strychnos naxwamika is a very good medicinal plant where Naxwamika bark is known for its antibiotic activity, anti-diabetic activity, and Naxwamika capsules made from the bark are very well known in the homeopathic medicine. Similarly, Naxwamika, Strychnos Naxwamika fruits are very toxic, and these are mixed with monocrotophos and sprayed in the paddy season, which very well known pesticide. And so that's what he was told by his friend, that why don't you take Naxwamika bark and put it in the water, a glass of water while sleeping, and next day morning you take that water, definitely you will be relieved like anything. So by enthusiasm he has taken the same thing, but he has taken more bark by more quantity. So instead of curing, he was hospitalized. As we are very much aware that if you take excess, our body cannot accept either vomitings or motion. So that's what it has to be taken, the prescribed quantity, prescribed dosage, then only the plant-based drugs are more effective when compared to the allopathic drugs. So, yeah, when you speak about our biodiversity, among the 34 mega diversity hotspot, our country hosts three hotspot. One is Western Ghats, Himalayan region, and Indo-Tibetan region. These three hotspots containing the many rich medicinal plants which has been many of the almost from 1981 to 2014, they have around 1562 uh, uh, natural products new chemical entities was marketed, and these are all directly or indirectly from the natural products, that is pure natural product or either its derivative. So the if you, this iceberg shows only this 10%, this 10% flora has been explored till date. The remaining 90% flora has not been studied. So this is also
உனக்கு
one of
தெரியும்ல
the,
இப்ப என்ன பண்ணுன்ட்டு
this is also one of the good opportunity to for the younger
அடுத்த
generation, for
செஷன்
the
உடைய
researchers to
co-host இவன்
take this natural products
ஆல்ரெடி
as a one
co-host
of
தான்
the
இருக்கான் மோகன் சார் இன்னொரு
area
co-host
to work on.
பிரகாசம்
Similarly,
சாரும் co-host
when
எடுத்துங்க
coming to fungi, we have almost 1 lakh to 3 lakh fungi species, but only less than 1% was studied. So this is also one of the opportunity. And if you think about the research areas in the natural product today, structural elucidation by using the spectral data interpretation is one of the biggest expertise in the natural products. Similarly, metabolomics and metabolite profiling study is also one of the good opportunity in the areas of natural products. And biotransformation, synergy, biosynthesis, of course, biological activity, value adding of the isolation of the compound. Similarly, molecular biology and biotechnology also good research areas in the natural products. Quantitative natural products chemistry, because nowadays we can come across the many of the natural drugs are adulterated. So in this aspect, the quality control issues are always alarming the people, alarming the natural product chemist to for the because of this adulteration, the natural product drugs are decreasing and defaming when compared to the other drugs. That's what quality control issues by quantification of the active compounds or marker compounds from the multi-herbal formulations or single herbal formulations is a very hot topic, and that is analytical area in the particularly natural product chemistry, very high demand and also very good opportunities. So just I would like to quote one example. One of my our senior colleague was retired almost in the 4 years ago. So he was suffering from arthritis by virtue of his age. So he's a basically Maharashtrian base. So he went to his native place in some holiday summer. So while seeing, his servant told, "Sir, we have the plant-based medicine in our area. These people are advocating for anti-arthritis." So he believed, and he has taken that medicine and for a couple of weeks, and he got very good relief. So after coming back to office, generally we have dispensary. Generally every month we go for a checkup. So he told the same thing to our doctor. So our doctor suspected, no, you should not use like this. Why have you tested for the steroids? So immediately he said no. So why don't you test? So that so since I am working in this area, that capsules came to me for testing. So I have tested. So it is a full of steroids. So then I told the same thing, doctor. He stopped. Again, he went to the Unani doctor, the Hyderabad remote based. Again, he got very nice pills with green coated, and he has used it for almost a couple of weeks. And again, this time also he got very good relief. And this time I tested for presence of the steroid. There are no steroids, but by enthusiasm, then I went I moved forward and developed the HPLC and LCMS method for getting the separation, identify those compounds, but that contains almost 80% of diclofenac sodium. What that Unani doctor did, he has purchased diclofenac sodium and made a powder and coated with any green leaf, which is non-toxic. See, in nature, we can take small any leaf with this low quantity, not toxic. So that's what he did. So this kind of adulteration is happening in the society in different fields, different herbal drugs. So this is we are also working in the quality control aspect and analytical area of the herbal drugs. Just I would like to emphasize about the quality control aspect and adulteration. That's what I quoted this example. So there are different approaches in the natural products for the isolation of the active compound or bioactive compound or marker compound. And here The one is bioassociated isolation procedure, reverse bioassociated isolation procedure, NMR based approach, and metabolomic based approach, and molecular networking approach. First one is bioassociated approach is a very good approach, and many of the drug leads were discovered in the present market by using this approach. Similarly, the reverse bioassociated, that is nothing but the random approach. You see, you take the plant and isolate the compounds as many as you based on your capability, and then after isolation you just for submit for activity or test for activity. That is nothing but the reverse. In the biosecurity assay, what we do is we follow the activity based separation, but here after separating the compounds we submit for the activity or screen for the activity. Similarly, NMR based approach and mass based approach also one of the recent technique where we can save time by doing the dereplication of the known compounds, and by doing dereplication, and we can save the time, and then by using these techniques, and we can also identify and isolate the minor compounds. Similarly, metabolomic based approach is also one of the important approach in recent days, and molecular networking based approach, this is a basically there is a one global natural product server. It's a software, and it is also more or less related to the artificial intelligence. So our the server is connected to the LC-MS/MS QTOF. After doing the MS/MS profile, when you send to the server, it will give the picture where all the known compounds are unknown compounds. Based on that, we will move forward to isolate the pure unknown compound. So I would like to emphasize and show my research work based on all these concepts except molecular networking approach. We are now entering into the molecular based approach by in the one collaborative Indo-French joint lab project. So when coming to our own research at IACT, as I told you, since we belongs to our natural products and traditional knowledge department, we regularly visit the interior areas of the forest in our country to interact with the tribal people who are using folklore medicine to understand their knowledge. Based on their inputs, we come back to lab and then identify those plants, and then taken up for the study for the isolation and characterization of the bioactive compounds from the medicinal plants used by particularly in the traditional medicine, folklore medicine, or tribal medicine. So after isolation of the lead compound or active compound, we're also involved by simplification or by adding some pharmacophoric groups to enhance the activity and also reduce the other toxicity, to see that the natural products compound should become a clinical drug candidate. After preparing the library of the derivatives, we are able to isolate. We can also able to isolate. We identify the active pharmacophore, which is responsible for the activity. So based on that, the other generation derivatives also prepared for further enhancement of the activity. So these are the targeted areas we are working: anti-cancer, antifungal, anti-diabetic, and free radical scavenging. In agriculture side, mosquitocidal, insecticidal plants also working. When coming to applied side, as I told you in the beginning, our group is also working on the quality control aspects of the herbal formulation. In this aspect, we are actively involved in the standardization of the multi-herbal formulations or single herbal formulations. Many of the projects, this type of projects will be undertaken from the industries, as by using we use the standardization. We do the standardization by using HPTLC and HPTLC MS and other LC-MS/MS, QTOF MS/MS. So as the now it has become mandatory for the herbal drugs to get license, the HPTLC profiling should be done. And also in even some of the pharma agencies also stress the industries, the pharmaceutical industries, to get the impurity profile by HPTLC fingerprinting. Similarly, in the pilot scale of isolation of the active compounds, we are also involved in the process development of the active compound from the crude extract. Similarly, after development of the process, we can also we are also involved in the isolation of that compound in the gram quantities, like 1 kg 500 grams, or 2 kg 200 grams, like that. Similarly, we also involved in several natural products related projects uh, by taking the funding from the government agencies and also industries. So our approach, So in our approach, what we do is we have categorized those medicinal plants in the two categories. One is the medicinal plants which has been used extensively in our systems of medicine, and unexplored flora of different region, including marine source and lichen. So from the explored flora, explored flora, if you work on, always you will get the many times the known molecules, but we are repurposing these known molecules for the different targets. And also in some of the times we are using the known molecules and the high phytochemical yields, making the derivatives around those scaffolds by using the functional groups. Similarly, the unexplored flora, particularly in the Himalayan region, northeast and western Ghats, by virtue of its huge diversity, we collect those medicinal plants based on their traditional use by the local people, and work on those to isolate the active compounds, and majority of the times will end up with the new molecules or new chemical entities, novel molecules. So based on this, all the compounds will be screening by biological screening based on the original target. After screening based on the activity, IPR will be generated, and it will be taken forward based on their efficacy. So generally, if you just to our we have for the isolation in the bios through biosegregated approach, we have developed our own biosegregated approach, where after screening the active many a number of the extracts, different extracts, we will select the active extract, and the active extract will be passing through reverse space 18 column chromatography by eluting aqueous methanol and acetone. Here we can see all the 6 fractions will be eluted. Based on the 6 fractions activities, the active fraction will be taken up for the isolation of the active compound, and then based on that lead synthesis for preparation of the multigram and multigram scale for the extensive biological studies, chemical modification, all will be studied. So I will quote some of the examples where we have obtained our lead compound by using this approach. We are very familiar with the Piper species because it's a one of the important kitchen hold item, Piper nigrum. And we have been working this Piper species, different Piper species from the last 6 or 7 years. Piper longum, Piper nigrum, Piper beetle, and Piper attenuatum, and Piper chaba. So as part of our project with the DST and the Arya Vaidishala Kottakkal, so we have screened different Piper extracts for anti-cancer activity, as well as aldose reductase inhibition activity, that is a diabetic retinopathy activity. So based on this activity, methanolic extract of Piper chaba showed potent cytotoxic activity. Similarly, the Piper chaba chloroform extract showed moderate activity against the aldose reductase enzyme. So based on this activity, we have we have subjected this crude extract for the isolation of the compounds, and ended with 7 compounds. This is called new dimeric alkalides. So among these, the 5 compounds are new compounds, and 3 compounds or 2 compounds are known compounds. So after isolation of these active compounds, again we tested their efficacy against the cancer cell lines. Here you can see the compound 2, Chabamide G, showing very good activity when compared to almost equal to the doxorubicin against the Colo 205 cell lines. This third compound is also showing moderate activity, and the other the bottom 4 compounds are not active. So these are the NMR and 2D NMR correlations observed while confirming the structure of this novel dimeric alkalides. Similarly, we also confirmed finally the structure of this novel dimeric alkalides by MS fragmentation, where we came to know that the dimeric alkalide is forming through the Diels-Alder reaction of the monomeric alkamides. So similarly, the moderate active chloroform extract of Piper chaba subject to the column chromatography, and we have isolated all these molecules of different kind, piperamides and lignans, and all those compounds. And so among these, this pipelartin we have isolated as a major phytochemical, and also this is showing moderate activity with 160 micromoles against the ARI against the aldose reductase inhibition assay. So then we thought of making the use of this its yield for the generation of the derivatives. So first of all, we just went to the literature and observed the similarity of our active lead and then the other marketed compounds. Here we can see the diamide functionality seems to be common in our lead compound as well as the marketed drugs. So based on this observation, we thought of making we thought of the keep on intact of this diamide functionality and working on the other groups for the generation of the derivatives. So first we thought of making the derivatives by using the Michael addition reaction with indoles, because indole is also very good pharmacophore and active pharmacophore. And here this in the lead molecule, this double bond will also good Michael acceptors. So based on this observation, we thought of making Michael addition reaction of pipelartin with various indoles. Also for this we need to optimize the condition. So for this we just screened various Lewis acid catalyst for the optimization of the reaction conditions. So among the 13 catalysts, the iodine 10 mole percent is giving very good yield, 80% yield, and the solvent dichloroethane is giving very good yield, 80% yield. So based on this optimization condition, we conducted the Michael addition reaction of the pipelartin with various indoles, and these we can see here monoadduct and diaddicts were formed with different indoles. Here all these derivatives were screened for the aldose reductase inhibition assay, and among these the dimeric adducts were showing very good activity equal to almost the standard drugs 4 micromoles. Here we can observe the parent molecule parent lead compound activity is 160 micromoles and the derivative activity was 4 micromoles. That means activity was enhanced almost 40 folds. So based on this, we also proceeded for the preparation of various other molecules by changing in the different groups on the aromatic ring and other piperidine ring. So these are the different sets of molecules prepared, but however these molecules have shown very moderate activity against the aldose reductase enzyme. So all this work was patented, and still we are working to simplify this molecule or the skeleton for the better activity and better less toxicity. Similarly, this is another plant called Premanal artifolia, very good one of the ingredient in the Ayurvedic formulation called Dashamul Arista, a formulation of 10 plant roots. So while doing the literature, we found this plant has not been studied for its active constituents. That's what we have taken up this plant and studied phytochemically for the isolation of the active compounds, and we have succeeded for the isolation of these four compounds called isotexane diterpenoids. So you can see this first three compounds, all four compounds have shown very good cytotoxic activity, of course, almost equal to the doxorubicin. And first three, all four compounds are new compounds, and the first three compounds are monomeric compounds. Fourth compound is first of its kind dimeric isotexane diterpenoid. When compared to the monomer diterpenoid and dimeric isotexane is less potent. So since we have isolated very scarcely a very low amount of this compound, we have started raw material from 10 kg and isolated 5 to 6 milligram. So that quantity is not enough to do extensive biological study. That's what we have developed the synthetic strategy by using all known protocols for the synthesis of these compounds. And also we are working on the making the derivatives by using the aromatic OH, because in the literature this tricyclic core is a 6, 7 and 6 membered. This tricyclic core is very important for the activity, and it has reported many wide range of biological activities. So this another assay is reverse biosecond, that is a random approach. So for this assay, this plant called Cypadessa bassifera, while we interact with the tribal people in the particularly in the Rampachodawaram and Vishakhapatnam region, we came to know from those tribal people that they have been using this plant for agriculture applications as well as their health care. So that's what we were impressed, and then collected this plant in that region and conducted the phytochemical studies based on the different polarities of extract and isolated almost 35 to 40 compounds. Among those, 25 compounds are new compounds. The Cypadessa bassifera belongs to Meliaceae family, that is neem family, which is rich of limonoids. We know pretty well about the limonoids. Azadirachtin is a very well-known insecticidal natural insecticide. Similarly, nimboloid, which is a famous nimoloid with very good anti-cancer activity. So after isolation of the all the compounds, we have screened these all limonoids, new and known nimoloids, with for different against the different anti-cancer cell lines. So some of the compounds showed moderate activity. So this is also another set of limonoids isolated from the same plant. And after the isolation, we cipaferin G, just we have isolated, a little bit good quantity, around 800 milligram. So we thought of making the derivatives by doing the simple hydrolysis and enclosing the different esters and screening the activity. And surprisingly, some of the derivatives showed very good antioxidant activity, almost 100% inhibition against the pest Spodophora litera. And some of the compounds derivatives also showed very good anti-cancer activity against the HEPG2 cell lines. So LCMS guided assay, another assay. So recently we have adapted the LCMS or MSMS based approach for the isolation of the compounds. For this also there was a small background. Actually, 4 or 5 years back, one new student joined in my group for his PhD. So he spent almost 1 year for the isolation and characterization of the cytosterol or sigmasterol. Uh, so that's why in that time I felt that yes, almost it's a simple sterol compound which found in almost all the plants. That's what I thought of doing, our application of by using LCMS or MSMS analytical techniques for dereplication, as well as to identify the target compounds or new compounds. So from there onwards, we are using analytical techniques, analytical instruments for easy doing isolation and dereplication of the known compounds or known sterols and all simple compounds. So what is the traditional procedure for isolation is extracts from the matrices, do chromatography and generate the fractions, again fractions, bioassay, give active fractions and do chromatography, isolate the pure compounds. After structuralization, you will know whether may be known or new compounds. So this is a very tedious process, and it will takes almost months together, years together, for all doing all the things. But in this present scenario, by using the analytical applications and analytical techniques, we can reduce the time and isolation. And also we can also able to isolate the minor compounds by using the preparatory HPLC or QT of MSMS, by using the mass based approach. That's what we have been applying recently by using MSMS approach for the isolation of the target compounds. And these are the dereplication techniques well reported in the literature by utilization of the NMR, UPLC, QTOF, MSMS, GCMS. So these are the recent methods for the isolation of the compounds from the crude extracts. So this is the one of the work where we have carried out the isolation by using the LCMS guided approach. So this plant is called Trichilia conarides. This is also one of the well known medicinal plants, belongs to neem family. And this plant also we have collected based on the interaction of the tribal people as a in the Visakhapatnam or Arakuloya region. While interacting, we have been very really impressed by utilization of these plants for their health care as well as the insecticidal properties. So what we did, after we collected this plant in that area and then made the extract. And after having the extract, we developed the fingerprinting profile of the crude extract, and then generated the MSMS molecular formula and molecular weights of each and every compound, separated, and then went back to the literature, DNP, Dictionary of Natural Products and Reactions, to know about those molecular weights and molecular formulas, whether those are known compounds or unknown compounds. Based on this information, we just tagged and identified the new compound or new mass from the crude extract, and then subjected to the preparatory HPLC those fractions, and isolated the by using preparatory HPLC those pure compounds, and structurally characterized by using different spectroscopic method, NMR and mass spectroscopic method. So these are the 6 compounds isolated by using the UPLC MSMS guided approach from the crude extract of Trichilia corneroids. For just a glimpse, I gave the NMR spectra of proton and see that in NMR of compound 1. Similarly, this is the lichens. Just later I will explain about the lichens. So as part of our Indo-French joint lab project, we are also working in the lichens. We have collected these lichens, the red part, and generated the HRMS, HPLC, UPLC, HRMS, MS molecular formulas and molecular weights. Based on the similar strategy, we have isolated the 6 compounds, and all those 6 compounds were again tested for different DPPH activity and other activities, and those are showing moderate activities against these tested organisms. So, and this is also another approach, Usnea longissima, very well known. I will give a introduction about the lichens later. Usnea is a very well-known lichen, and it's a filamentous lichen and has a long history of its usage in the traditional medicine. So we have taken up this lichen for the study and isolated by using our normal chromatography method 4 compounds, and structurally characterized by using NMR and other methods. And the barbatic acid was first time we developed the crystal structure, and this barbatic acid showing very good activity against the A549 cell line, almost equal to the doxorubicin. By using this activity, we further performed the cytometric flow cytometric assay and NXGen assays also, clearly indicating that induced cell by death by apoptosis. Further, it is also confirmed by immunoblot assay and capsid 3 assay, which really showing that barbatic acid showing causes cell death through nuclear damage and induces apoptosis by robust cleavage of PRP protein. So to isolate or they identify the minor compounds which are in pico level, we have utilized the QT of MSMS for those identification of those compounds. What we have done is we have developed the MSMS fragmentation pathway of minor compounds, and total ion chromatography of the extract, ion chromatography TAC MSMS of the extract, and identify almost 25 compounds. These are the structures of the compounds identified based on the mass fragmentation rules. And among these blue colored compounds are identified as a new compound, for which we gave justification by using the mass fragmentation pathway where these compounds are forming retro-Diels-Tolzl reaction, and the blue colored fragment seems to be a crucial fragment for the formation of the new compounds or these compounds. So I would like to thank here. I would like to thank my director, Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, Director CSIR IACT, for his excellent support for doing the working in the natural products, and my supervisor, Dr. J. Madhusudan Rao, and my, of course, my student force. Because of them only here I am able to present all the research work. And for, now presently 9 scholars are working with me, and another 6 project staff is working in different projects. So just before closing, I would like to just explain about our institute, CSIR IACT, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. This institute has been established before the India's independence, and last year in 2019 it has been completed 75 years of its age. And we have different expertise, basically the development of process development of drug intermediates, APIs, and the chemical biology division is responsible for all biological screening procedures. And the lipids, we have transferred very good lipid science technology division. We have transferred almost the production of rice bran oil, where the India is in many of the industries are using our technology, 70% industries are using. Similarly, catalysis development, heterogeneous and homogeneous catalyst, and similar diversity oriented synthesis of drug intermediates and fine chemicals and other divisions. Here I am working in the natural products laboratory, where all the staff is working on different natural products, lichens, natural products from plants, terrestrial medicinal plants, and marine organisms, and other microbial natural flora. And we have very good state of art facility of different NMR, mass, and other techniques. So just I would like to give here the pioneers of Indian natural product scientists. So starting from LL Simonson, Ramnath Chopra, Silamuddin Siddiqui, T.R. Sheshadri, K. Venkatraman, T.R. Govindachari, very famous for neem work, entire life he worked on the neem. Asima Chatterjee, Susanka Chandra Bhattacharya, and Sukhdev is a living legend of natural products. He's a very well known as a glucosterones. He's a pioneered work on glucosterone. And thank you once again for your kind attention and giving the opportunity to showcase our recent research activities where related to the different natural sources, marine and plant, terrestrial plants and lichens. Recently, just I skipped. I missed the slides about the lichens. Lichens. Just I would like to take 2 minutes. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to emphasis on the lichens. Lichens are nothing but the symbiotic organisms of algae and fungi, and lichens also has a history of their utilization in the ancient times. Even till today, the people are using the lichens as their biryani leaf because lichens containing the majority number of polyphenols where they are well known as a nutraceuticals. There is a huge market of lichens in the as a nutraceuticals in the Europe, but in our country we have our own CSIR laboratory, National Botanical Research Institute. We have very good lichen repository, but very few people are working in this lichens area. And fortunately, this Tamil Nadu is the richest state and they having the
Hello.
for the particularly in the cosmetic applications. So we are working enter into the lichens as part of the Indo-French Joint Lab program, and we have collected many lichens in the Rayalaseema region, Eastern Ghats, and we got several leads by using by the application of the uh, analytical techniques and fingerprinting profile, MSMS profiles. So thank you one and all for your patiently hearing. Thanks once again.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent presentation.
Yes,
And
sir.
you have enlightened us about the possibilities of natural products. And also you have given a note of precaution, a note of caution about how it should be used. So thank you very much for the enlightening one.
Yes, sir.
And we were just browsing through the feedbacks. The
Yeah.
feedback, all the feedbacks are saying, thanking you for your excellent presentation, very informative session. And somebody was asking us whether the recorded version is available. We will say the recorded version is available. You can contact Dr. Jabez Osborne for that purpose. And the feedback form also is getting circulated. So you
Okay.
can give your feedback for that. And other than that, technical questions, I could not find any
Here,
technical questions. And
yeah,
in that case, I would suggest maybe 2 questions from the participants. They can unmute their speaker and maybe 2 questions, just 2 questions, because we are running short of time.
okay.
So please, anybody from the audience,
Okay,
you
sir.
can raise your hand. There's a provision for raising your hand, and yes, and please ask the question. Anybody from the audience? Yes, Ratinamala, please go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, Ratnamala.
Yeah,
Please.
Ratinamala. Yeah, please.
Hello, Ratnamala.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, we can take one.
hello. Yeah, anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sir, hello.
Ushasri,
Yeah.
Ushasri.
Sir, Dr.
Raghavendran.
Ratnamala here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, please
First-
carry on.
First,
Sir,
tell about
good evening to all.
First, tell about yourself.
Yes, sir. I am Dr. Ratnamala, working as a research officer Siddha in Siddha Regional Research Institute, Ministry of Ayush, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session.
Yes.
Being a Siddha physician, it gives me immense pleasure, and I gain a lot of knowledge regarding this. And I want to ask one question, sir.
Yes,
When you
please.
are speaking about the natural products, we are using not only herbs, we are using metals and minerals equally to herbs. Have you worked on any metals and minerals?
Yeah, yes, madam. We have worked on the basmas and other herbomineral preparations as a joint project by Arya Vaijyashala Kottakkal and DST.
Okay.
And even, basmas, there is a very good medicinal values and people are practicing it. There is no scientific validation even till date. And we can see best medicine. See, one of the anti-cancer agents, cisplatin, is a very well-known drug as a metal-based standard for anti-cancer activity. Yeah, that's what. Even there is a good chance and good opportunity, even good challenge to analyze those basmas and herbomineral preparations to identify their efficacy and
Sir, I couldn't.
Yeah, there is some problem, signal problem with the audio. Hello,
Hello.
hello, Dr. Suresh Babu. Hello.
The audio is gone, I think.
There is some problem. I think the signal has gone weak.
able to hear me.
Hello. Yes, yes. Please,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as I told you, we worked on the herbomineral preparations for their fingerprinting profile and their toxicity aspect. And also in the basmas also we worked on the same toxicity assays and the fingerprinting profiles. We had the experiences and best example cisplatin, one of the best anti-cancer drug containing the platinum.
Sir, one more question I want to ask.
Yeah.
If suppose we are going for standardization, and
Yes.
if you want to go for any cytotoxic activity, if
Yeah.
suppose we are doing in Basma or Chenduram, whatever else in Ayurveda or Siddha, we find it lot of difficulty in solubility issues. How come we overcome those problems?
Yeah, so far because generally the solvent DMSO will be used in general. Okay, my compounds all so far we have not faced any compounds. Almost all are polar compounds, but in sometimes based on the solubility we can also use water. That has to be sensed by using the by handling the compound nature. We should use the methods for the solvent. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Then there is one question, Dr. Suresh Babu.
Sure, sir.
Can we, this is from Dr. Pranav Kumar.
Yeah.
Can we have a few lines on the combination therapy of phytoconstituents and allopathic medicines?
Yeah, yes, sir. See, actually, I would like to quote another example. See, even till today, if you take the allopathic medicine and herbal medicine, we don't know how they act when they entered into our intestine. See, if they act friendly, then we are safe. And if they act enemies each other, then we are gone. Even there is no mechanism to study that also. That is also one of the biggest field and challenging field in the present scenario. One of the professor from Andhra here only, he has taken even though he's a pharmacy professor, he has taken allopathic medicine as well as the herbal medicine together. And after 6 months, I'm sorry to say, he passed away without any diagnosis. That is the adverse issues happened, and that's what we are also studying the stability studies of the marker compounds from the herbal formulations, because that marker compound is the main responsible compound, or active compound is the main responsible compound for the efficacy of those formulation. Because the main issue is, if you take paracetamol 650, irrespective of the company, the dosage is 650 mg only, but it's not happening in the aspect of herbal formulations, where the active compound dosage is not maintaining sustainably from different in different batches. So in that active compound, if you take inside also, if the active compound is stable enough in our intestine, because our intestine contains acidic environment, other issues also. So if it is not stable, if it is transformed to some other compound, if the other compound should be stable or non-toxic, then only that is we are safe, and that acts as a very good drug. Otherwise, if it is a toxic one, then we are gone. So because of that, we are also studying the toxicity aspect in the stressed environment. So that is my feeling.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Suresh Babu, for answering all the questions. Now
Yes,
we have some more questions have come, but we
please.
have lack of time. We are lagging
Yeah,
behind.
if they have
So
any
yeah,
questions, then they can contact me
and
through the email where
yes, yes, and also these questions will be communicated to the speaker,
sure.
and he can address to all these questions. So
Thank you,
once
sir.
again, I thank you, Dr. Suresh Babu, for your wonderful lecture, which has been very much enlightening. Already, traditionally, we know about the traditional medicines and the impact, the importance of the natural products, the plants originated from the plants. But now we are into the actual scientific and molecular analysis of those remedies, and what is the actual impact at the physiological level. What is the actual impact? So this has been very much elucidated by your lecture, and also the sense of caution, that also is very, very important, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, and
Thank
we
you,
are
sir.
passing on to the next session.
Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you.
sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much,
Thank
right?
you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anil Kumar sir, for being as a
Thank you.
person.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Dr.
much.
Davis. Thank you, Dr. Davis. Yeah.
So we are moving on to the next session, sir.
Yeah,
Right.
please.
So thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Davis. Yeah.